Hey everybody, Steve Burns is back. We're going to create our 3-point perspective for more of a telephoto point of view. Now as you can see here, I've established my horizon line and I have established my vanishing points way outside the document bounds here, as you can see. All right, and this is going to give me much more of a bird's eye view with the horizon line being so high. And of course, our third point is going to define the vertical edges, right? So I'm going to place it right down here at the bottom. I'm going to take it closer to the center, or close to the center of the image, and then bring down, make the vanishing point way down here, okay? All right, let's go ahead and let's establish them real quick. Let's go to our polygon tool, and I'm going to start with this one on the on the left hand side. Click and drag it there. Now if you noticed, we have quite a bit of gaps in here. So to fill in those gaps a little bit, Command J to duplicate my vector shape. Command T for free transform, and I'm going to rotate it, and you can see the other one right behind it. Place it there, and I'm all done. Now if I select them both, hit enter on the keyboard, I'm going to select them both, right click, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and merge those shapes. All right, so that one is done. Let's go add another one to the other side. Let's grab our polygon tool. It's already selected. Click and drag it. That's going to define the walls on the right hand side. That too has pretty large gaps, so I'm going to hit Command J to duplicate it, Command T for free transform, rotate it so I can fill in those gaps right in between it, and hit enter to commit my changes. I will select them both, right click, merge them together so we don't have to deal with more than one shape for this example. Select both of the layers, Command or Control G. We're going to call this one perspective. Go ahead and get that established there. And let's go ahead and colorize these very quickly. Double click on the right hand side, stroke it, and that side's fine, and click OK. It's stroked with green. Let's go over to the left hand side, hold the Alt or Option key, drag this shape right on top, okay? We're going to duplicate it, drag it right here, double click on the stroke. Instead of green, let's give it a red. Done. All right. Now I'm going to add that third point that's going to define the vertical edges. So that point is way down here at the bottom. Grab the polygon tool, pull it up. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to duplicate that layer once again. Command T on that one and rotate it there. Hit enter, select those two, merge them just like the others. And let's go ahead and give this a color. This color, we're going to give it blue. All right. Target the actual folder or the group. There we are. Okay. There's our lines. Let's go ahead and bring down the opacity of the group so it's not so much visually in the way. And what I've done was I added an adjustment layer of a color fill on the bottom, and we're going to start working from that. So now if we start creating our architecture, I'm just going to start somewhere. I'm going to just draw this in impromptu here. Now before, I have been teaching you guys to utilize vector shapes to assist you. I'm going to share another way that I think will help speed up your process. I'm going to hit the B key for the brush. I'm going to add a new layer right above my color fill. And for my brush, I'm right clicking on it. And what I've done was I created a brush. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create this from scratch. Let's go to the very top here. And I'm going to grab this one here. It's a soft edge brush, but I don't want to keep it soft edge. I'm going to bring it down so it's harder edge and bring the actual size of it pretty small, because we're going to actually just draw our shape in here, okay? Go back to my perspective, and I want to bring that down more, and so that's not in my way visually. And our red lines are going to define the left-hand side of the building. Your green lines are going to define the right-hand side. And, of course, your blue lines are going to define your vertical lines. So I'm going to start here. And if I come right over here to my brush, it's telling me that I'm using, I'm going to turn off the transfer so that I'm using solid. Make sure everything 100%. So it's going to be a solid shape. So as I increase the size of the brush, I'm going to give it a much more of a solid edge. Maybe just slightly soft, okay? And bring it down about so big. All right, now that will work. Let's save that brush, new brush preset. And let's get this out of our way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my shift command. Remember, our red line is going to define the right side of the building. So I'm going to go ahead and start right over here. It's going to start right up here. Tap and release. Follow that blue line. Let's take it to right about there. Holding down the shift key gives me a straight line. All right. Holding down the shift key gives me another straight line. Shift and shift connects it. Okay. Now, let's go define the face of the building. Tap and release, following my perspective lines there. All right, let's follow the red line back here and the green line to there. Okay, now I'm going to tap and release here in the corner, bring this to the green line here, and now I'm going to close the shape right about there. Okay, there's my first building. And I'm going to create all of this on one layer here. Now, if I want to make a building that's a little bit taller, let's start here. Click and release, holding the shift key, click and release, bring this building out to here, down to the blue line, and I'm going to follow this all the way back to the building. There. Following our perspective. Let's bring this over a little bit. Tap and release here with my stylus. Holding the shift key. Oh, that was off a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to back it up. Click and release here. And bring this a little closer to where I want it to be. There we are. That's a little better. And it looks like I'm going to want to bring this down just about past the green line, right about to there. Holding the shift key to there. Click and release. Following it down. Trying to match my perspective as best as I can. And that's why it's handy to have those extra lines in there. It'll make your life a lot easier. You can see I'm just slightly off on that one. But bringing in those extra lines, bringing in those extra lines will make your life a lot easier, so you don't have to guess where you need to go. Okay, so it's doing pretty good. Let's go ahead and put another building right back here. Click and release. Shift key. Bring this on over. Shift key. Shift. Bring it down to here. All right, starting back over here. We'll bring this building all the way following that perspective. I'm going to follow this line probably right about there. This may need to come forward just a little bit, but I'm going to take it right about to there. Yeah, that looks like it's going to, yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, click and release and bring it all the way down following my blue lines as best as I can. I'm going to undo that one because I need to come over a little bit more. Undo that one. That's better. Okay, let's go ahead and match this side here. By getting closer, it'll probably make my life a lot easier, wouldn't it? Let's kind of get in closer. There we are. What I'm doing is tapping here, holding the shift key. It's a little better. All right, so that's an example of my buildings. Let's do just one more. So I want a little street level right in here. So I'm going to come right over here to the side, click and release, and shift, bring this on over, click and release, follow these lines on over. Yeah, you know, having those extra lines in here is really going to make your life a lot easier. So if I pull, click and release here, there we are, pull that on back. The same thing here. Pull that on over. All right. All right, now, what's nice about this is we can fill these in. All right, so we're on the layer. Here's our drawing layer. Let's go ahead and change our foreground to maybe a little bit of a darker colored gray. And I'm going to fill that in on the sides there. Right over here, the gradient is the number 6 tool down on the right hand side. Grab the paint bucket, and I'm going to fill these with the darker area. Okay. Now let me come back to this drawing here. Hit the B key from my brush, and I'm going to tap this here, following it down. That's a little bit off. Tap. And going to there. All right, now I go back to my fill bucket and fill that in. So I want a little bit of a lighter color. This is going to be my brighter side. So now what I could do is just switch the two and then give this a lot more of a lighter gray. So if I ever need one or the other, I can just hit the X key instead. My fill bucket is here, and like so. Okay, so we're starting to create our buildings. Now, as you can see already, we're getting more of a telephoto point of view. The foreground objects are back here are still, going to look like they've been compressed into the shot. Now, to create the street level, I like to do that on another layer. I'm going to start creating our street, and let's go ahead and just give it a different color. How about a red, so it's easier for us to see? Hit my B key, make my brush just a little bit bigger. All right, and this should be pretty easy here. There we are. And make that just about there. Click and release, and I'm going to start outlining my street. Okay. Tap it here, tap here, and this is going to represent kind of the sidewalk area. Here's the street here. Now, if you want to, you can just draw it in manually, all right? So, following our lines, if you feel pretty confident with your drawing skills, bring it on over. Here's our street. Following this on out. Another street, following this on out, following our perspective lines. Here, this is going to come out like so, okay? Here's a street here. Bring it across. I'm going to bring it on over. I'm just freehanding this. This is going to continue to there, okay? So this is going to follow the green lines on out. This is going to continue to follow the green lines here. I have a red line right about there following our perspective, okay? And then here we can put in more buildings if we want to. Actually, let me turn the pen around so we can get our brush, or hit the E key for our brush on our keyboard, and we can erase away some of the areas that we don't. So I want to keep this here. I want to keep this open here. Hit the B key. Follow on through. And if we want, we can follow that street level on through. Okay, so it gives you an idea of how you're going to create. So as you create your building, we're also going to bring in our textures in here to map these on. All right, so let's give you an example of how to accomplish that next.